What's up, y'all? Here we are again, back into some workflow. All right, so you should be able to see my screen a little bit better this time. I made sure I made some adjustments for volume and for my screen so you can see a little bit more of what's going on. All right, as you can tell, I've actually added on to my template. This time, I have this channel right here that says S80 Korg MIDI. Well, I have this set up because now I want to use hardware synthesizers on this idea. And in order for it to work with my workflow, I'm sending MIDI out physically through a cable. It's connected. It's not internal. It's not running through the computer. It's actually coming out of machines, MIDI out, and I'm putting it into my microKORG MIDI in and my MIDI through from the microKORG into the Yamaha S80. So right now I have a combination of two sounds. I got just a simple piano patch, and then I have a synthesizer. It's kind of like synthesized strings. Cool thing about the way I have it set up is that the microKORG actually has audio in, so all the MIDI is going through these guys, and the audio from the S80 is going through the Korg back into my channel, and I'm creating my own layered patches this way. So as I explained in my first video, I use Machine to trigger my chords, and I get like really cool, beautiful sounds like this. So really, that's the vibe right now. That's what I'm feeling. I already went through the process, setting up my keys, picking out my chord set. The only thing I haven't done is figured out what the BPM is going to be. But on something with that kind of vibe, I'm going back. I always start at 100 and take it from there. I'm not super focused on guitar stuff because this is very synth based. So it's going to be synths first, then the beat, you know? So let me explain the actual plugin I use to make this happen inside of Ableton. So right here, you have the external instrument plugin. If you look over here, instruments, external instrument. And what it's going to do, it's going to ask what, what channel of MIDI everybody set on channel 1 coming from the machine Mark III, and the audio is into my first channel on my Universal Audio Apollo. I'm always checking, making sure I'm not coming in too hot, and pretty much it's just like a loop, and that's it. And it's just another track, but this is a MIDI track, so it's taking MIDI information. So just like my first video in this series, you'll see it, but it's still feeding the other tracks that have nothing on them yet. So as long as I have this one armed, I'm going to get the sounds I want. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and loop in a couple of progressions, and then we'll start having fun with it. All right, guys, we're back into it. And so I'm already set up. I kind of played around, got a clip going. Not stoked on it, so I'm going to delete that right now. One thing that I always have to check is making sure that because it's velocity sensitive, when I hit the actual trigger over here on the machine, on the pad, I need to make sure it's not like coming in too hot, because then I'm going to get some crazy peaks. And all those adjustments I have to physically make over here. Now, if I was just working in machine, I have a great template, and I already have all the CCs mapped out for my Korg and my S80, which is really fun stuff, and I'll get into it one day. But for now, let me get this progression in here. So we already got the channel ready. Gonna drop it in. So if you notice, I explained this last time, variation is always a good thing. I did put in like just one little switch up on the third bar, I didn't do anything really crazy. So Command A, Command U, there shouldn't be any big issues. Actually, let me undo that. Let's listen and see if I have to make any adjustments. And again, I'm just going to clean up this MIDI right quick. So I'm getting those and ones, and 1, 2. So really don't want to mess with the groove I got there too much. Let's shorten you guys just a little bit. Get you in time. There we go. One more, just a little bit. So I'm trying to be careful about how hard I'm slamming on certain parts because it's triggering the piano a little bit more dominantly, which is fine because it's an original patch. It's not somebody else's patch. I'm making this thing happen, making my own loops, which is always a fun thing. And I just want to make sure I get a little bit of consistency, but at the same time, I also don't care if the piano's a little dominant on some parts because that's cool. That's like, it's not static. It's not just like this straight line. So I'm cool with that for now. Let me get another progression in there. That one's pretty easy, so let's clean up real quick. See, whenever it slams at full velocity, I could set it to fixed velocity, but my issue with that is it's going to take out some of the magic, some of the groove and funk. But this one was pretty on point. Yeah, not much had to get moved around, and I'm looking at it, so I trust it. And if I need to make adjustments, it's still MIDI. All right. We got that in there. Let's move on. All right, y'all, we're back. So now I figured out the sounds that I want to put in here. It's a very big sounding patch and I want to complement it, but I also want to add some movement so it's not just like drawn out and totally legato. So right here, as you can see, I loaded up an instance of Contact 5. It's never failed me. I haven't updated in a while, but I really love Session Strings, one of my favorite plugins ever. E-Instruments makes great stuff, and I really, I'd love to get the new ones. We'll see, but I'm really definitely getting my money's worth with this one. I do have it set on to the animator, which is gonna basically be the arpeggiator that's built into it. I had picked a setting, and I like the way it's going. Now all I did was copy over the MIDI from there to here. Now it's really cool, and I'm gonna play it for you. It's cool where it's at, but it's all about adding those layers that will motivate you as you create, go into the actual song. And this already has a very R&B pop kind of vibe. So I'm feeding off of what I'm doing. So I just keep the creative juices flowing. So you can hear it right now the way it is. I think it's pretty rad. I'm gonna launch it on my Push 2. So as you can see, like what I was talking about earlier, I like where the piano is dominant, then it goes back because of the velocity, and it comes back in. It feels cool, and it's moving. It's subtle things, and I'm keeping my groove. Since I have this following the same groove, but it's also, it's an arpeggiator. It's got its own little static vibe. All right, so gonna do what I love to do. I'm gonna highlight this guy, and we're gonna raise everybody up. Okay, So now we're back into the MIDI clip, and I'm gonna actually extend my chord. I'm going to go ahead and take it from D2, D sharp 2 to D sharp 3. Now if I was just moving the chord on my own, really quick key on that is just shift and the up arrow. Let's make sure everybody's hitting at the same time. But since I have to copy and paste and bump it up, that's why I'm dragging it. Now, since they're still highlighted, and it's cool that it's going up, but I can also go down and go back past it, go a sub octave, you know? Okay, so I'm getting what I want out of that. And same thing here. Let's hear how it sounds against the second progression. I'm not gonna make any changes. Just gonna launch it. I'm cool where it's at. I'm definitely going to play around with the arpeggiation mode. All right, we're back in it, and I'm ready to win it. All right, so I picked some samples from a few different packs that I actually quite enjoy, tuned them up, and yeah, so now I'm just going to kind of like show you the way I like to do my drum parts. One thing's for sure is that when it comes to like recording my parts, I actually do prefer to kind of go and like do the beat on my push 2. It's right here in my center. Like I said, I got 2 hands in my first video, so this is my drums, right? But I do it in modulation, so I will go bit by bit. I'll drop in the kick, figure out my groove, clean up any mistakes, etc., so on and so forth, you know. So let's get it. So variation again, usually that's just like the spice of life, right? So we like to keep it like that. One thing that's always important to do is that even though I'm playing it through the push 2 and it sounds good when I'm doing it, just something for everyone to kind of take notice of. Make sure that before you quantize or do anything, drag out to like the quarter note, drag it out, because what's gonna happen sometimes is that if you keep it too short, the full sample doesn't get triggered, and that's just food for thought. So it's not like perfect or anything by any means. I'm definitely gonna have to clean it up. Also, I have kicks hitting on my 2s, so you know, gotta be conscious of those little movements. And this is just my vibe. Everybody's different. Some people like to play the whole beat in, go back and clean it up. I just go with the main, you know, the meat in the taco, if you will. Here. Oh, need to make sure I'm able to hear what I'm doing too, right? took a little bit of time and I came up with a few things. First thing I'm going to go through is my bass. So the way I achieved my bass was actually by taking the chords that I used in the beginning progression, broke it down, then went back, edited my MIDI, and created a new bass line. But as far as sounds go, I actually have an 808, and I'm going to show you. This is my own 808. It's in the key of the song, which is E flat or D sharp, and it's not very processed. It's just really big. So it's a good 808. And from there, I dropped it into a simpler. So there's my sample. Okay, I have it tuned to where I need it. So I have it going at Complex Pro, and I have a audio effects rack running, real basic. I got a channel EQ, one of my favorite updates in Live 10. So channel EQ, real simple. It's 3 bands. I don't need any highs off this. Very little mids, so high and low mids. I need a lot of that low end because I need, that basically anything like 30 and below. Side chain to the kick from my drum rack. It's not completely slammed, but it's coming in pretty hard. Dynamic tube to add some drive. Take a step back, and you can see I have it running the MS2 on the filter, and I'm running a little bit of drive there. Great thing about 808s is that they love distortion because it brings out the natural harmonics. Then you saturate it, add a little bit more. I use a soft sine, get it sounding a little bit wider and warmer. Soft clip is on. Then after I process through that, then I boost the fundamentals. So like the fundamental right there, and I'm gonna be like getting more of the in tune sound, because 808s easily sound out of tune, but you need detuning for the glide. So in between notes, it sounds rad. Ultimately, I have utility running 100% in down the middle, straight mono, and just a limiter just to catch anything crazy, but I'm not having any issues because I'm not burning anything up yet. That's just like a typical rack for me. Next to it is actually a pluck that I have that is pretty much the same thing, except I'm running this guy mid side. He's still running mono. Got a kickstart in there, so Nicky Romero plugin, really great for side chaining, made by the Cable Guys as well. So volume shaper, all that good stuff. My pluck it's basically the D pluck, and I kind of took some elements out of it. Very stock standard Serum preset. And again, still following the same side chain, but as you see, different kind of information. What I took out of the other one, I'm putting here. A lot of people say you need 3 basses, When I get to mixing, I'll know what I need, and I'm very much like a fan of Dave Pensato. It's all, he likes to separate. He'll copy stuff and get the information he needs and creates it. All right, so let's hear the basses together. So I'm just gonna have these guys play. Outside of that, you see I'm running like a straight up 100%. It's kind of high to send a send, and that's gonna be isotope trash 2. All it's doing is taking parallel like signal, and I am adding harmonic control, and it's coming out high, pretty grimy by itself, very crunchy, but it's that good fuzz that I need. All the other elements, and what you got going on here is I've added some things into the orchestration. Yes, that's sausage fattener, but I use it tastefully, I think. So I still have the strings here. They're still really up front, which is fine for now. I brought in a brass ensemble, hard right, trumpet ensemble, hard left. I got them running different dynamics. Love Contact, really great sampler, really great from Native Instruments. Always love you guys stuff. So that's gonna be that's the verse, right? I mean, that's the intro, right? So now we're gonna go to the verse. Now the verse is quite different because I pull out elements. So, you know, there's space and it's not so much stuff attacking your ears like the whole whatever 3 minutes this song is probably going to end up being. So in here, you'll notice that I scaled back on the drums. I did something different with my hardware synths, and I'll show you. It's basically the same 3 chords, just in different sequence. I'm also running some volume shaping, and it's just trying to stay out of the way of the subs. You know, that's the important thing. Just get everything out of the 808's way, and the 808 will sit well in what you're doing. The drums too have been scaled back, so just the snap is more prominent, got a little bit more of that white noise. As far as like the feel of the beat and sounds, I needed a short kick, so I replaced the kick from earlier. This one sounds more tight to me and definitely in key. The other one was just like getting too crunchy too fast, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna deal with that in the mix stage. So I had to make that decision, swapped it out. And the bass line is switched out too, so I'll let you jam these guys together. If you hear in the high end, I actually have a loop that I got out of a producer pack. I manipulated its warped. As you can tell, like the BPM's not even like anywhere close to it. One thing that I do have running on here is halftime. Another great thing from the Cable guys. Got this one for a really good price. And it's giving me like the vibe I want. There's some fluctuations in time and space. It's already auto panning on its own. There's not a lot I'm gonna do to that. The pluck is coming up behind that bass, so it's nice. There's a lot of question answer going on. And then yeah, you hear like the little percussion. Bloop. I love it because I like space. You can't be slamming music all over the place, especially during the verse. The rapper or singer needs the room. They need to be able to think and come up with their melodies. You know, you can't have all the melodies. So I leave a lot of room. So same thing. Now we're going into like the hook, I guess. It's way busier on the drums. There's more instrumentation, just like the intro. And I got that same loop, you know, and let's see what you think. So you'll notice, like, I'm not really pushing the 808, like, typically, like, if it was like a Dirty South vibe or something, it's like boom, 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 like nonstop. Like, usually I'd have 2 of those and they'd be back and forth, but there's got to be space. So this is very kind of like pop, R&B, R&bass influenced, you know. I'm a big fan of The Weeknd, Miguel, like a lot of those vibes. So yeah, and again, this is still just like the idea stage. I still got fills to write. I still have effects noise that I need to create for it. I might even write some guitar. I don't know. That's not the original plan, but I don't know. I'm starting to feel like I could put some cool guitar licks. Like, you know, that's my style. Anyways, guys, again, my name is Foz, aka 7 Ounce the producer. I am an organizer for Ableton here in Houston, Texas. Questions, comments, concerns about Ableton, or you just want to talk, or if you want some swag, guys, I can hook you up. If you're in Houston and you reach out to me, we will link up and I can hook you up with all kinds of cool stuff for your studio from Ableton. Great people. They got me the sweater. Was a gift. Very warm. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you, and I'll catch you next time.